Hi, my name is Korre Johnson. I work on the social media team here at Children's Hospital of Wisconsin. Thank you so much for joining us. Today we're going to have a live discussion about the breastfeeding support we provide to patient families at our hospital. And today I'm joined by a very special patient family. This is Tara and her daughter Sadie. And we're also joined by Lisa Brock, one of our internationally board-certified lactation consultants. And we're going to spend a few minutes today to talk about the support we provide to patient families through our lactation services team. And so if you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and post them. Towards the end of the discussion, we'll take an opportunity to answer a few of those questions. But I'd like to introduce you to Tara, and I'd like to ask Tara, could you talk about Sadie's experience at our hospital, maybe from the point in time you were pregnant until now? Just give us an overview of her experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I was about 20 weeks pregnant, we met with Dr. Sadek in the Herma Heart Center, and Sadie was diagnosed with tetralogy of Fallot, a congenital heart defect. So we were followed by the Fetal Concerns Center, and we got a chance to meet with lactation well before she was born, which was really special because we're first-time parents. I didn't really know anything about what I wanted to provide for her, but I knew that because already she had a heart defect that I wanted to do the best I could and provide breast milk. So Sadie was then born 6 weeks early and under 4 pounds, and she was in the NICU here, and I met Lisa and the team, the lactation team in the NICU pretty much every single day, helping me breastfeed her, and then helping me pump as well, because it was really important that Sadie got as many calories as possible and that we knew exactly how much she was taking in. So even though I was able to breastfeed her once or twice a day, the majority of the milk that she got from me was through a bottle. So I would pump the milk and then give it to her. So Sadie was in the hospital, in the NICU for 8 weeks. We were discharged home, which was really exciting because we didn't have to have heart surgery before we were discharged. So we were home for 12 weeks, and then we came back on January 14th for her heart repair, her full repair. And she spent 3 weeks here as a patient down in the CICU and then on West 4 as well. And I met again with lactation because it was still important that she get the nutrition that she needed. She did have a bit of a spell where she had quite a bit of fluid on her lungs, so she wasn't allowed to eat at all. So when she came back and was starting to eat again by mouth, we worked together to see how we could provide her the best food possible with pumped breast milk, and then deciding whether or not to add fortification or extra calories through formula. So we've been home now. We've been home now 3 weeks. She's 5 weeks, 6 weeks post-op from her heart repair, and she's doing really, really well, which is nice. But in total, we spent 77 days as a patient here at Children's Hospital of Wisconsin.
And Lisa, what role did your team have in the care of baby Sadie?
We had the pleasure, my teammate Linda was able to meet Tara and her husband prenatally when Tara was in the fetal concerns, and answer her questions that she had prenatally, which really helps us to then work with her and Sadie after delivery. And then we would meet to get her pumping, set her up, getting her supply established, and looking at optimizing feedings for a preterm infant, because we didn't know, and milk is specifically made to the day the babies are born. So I think that was really empowering for Tara too, as she was pumping and knowing it was made just special to that day for Sadie to help her, and then going from skin to skin, kangaroo care to breastfeeding with us, and watching her grow, and then optimizing her calories because of a cardiac condition. Right. And then our milk kitchen has been integral in making special individualized feedings for Sadie while she was here as well. So we've been through her journey with her.
Yeah.
So Tara, this is your first child.
Yes.
And so when you were pregnant, what type of thoughts did you have when you looked ahead at you as a breastfeeding mom? What type of worries or anxieties did you have, or questions did you have maybe?
Sure. I think, to be completely honest, I didn't think much about it in advance of finding out about her heart defect. I knew that, as a mom, I wanted to do everything I could to provide the best possible outcome for my child. And especially once, I was always open to breastfeeding and I was always open to providing breast milk, but especially once we found out she had a heart defect, I knew that was what I wanted to provide for her because I was able to give her the best possible nutrition so that she could grow and get strong and that she wouldn't get sick. It was so important that in between the time that she was in the NICU and the time she came back for surgery, she didn't once get sick, which was just fantastic because if she were to get sick with an unrepaired heart, already, at a 8, 9, 10-pound baby, she would have lost a lot of weight. She would have had to push back heart surgery. It would have really been a big setback for her. So I think that was really, really important to me. And then just the education that I learned from Linda and from the entire lactation team while I was here. I was on maternity leave, sitting in the NICU asking questions every single day. What more can I do? Should I change my diet? Is she getting what she needs to be getting? Questions like those, doing a lot of reading, a little bit too much online research, but that's what you guys were for.
And Lisa, what role does breast milk have in a child like Sadie who is looking to grow bigger and stronger and potentially looking forward to an operation?
So we were able to also work with Terry when she would be coming back to the Herma Heart Institute.
Yeah.
She would visit us and ask some questions that she had just so that we could optimize how her breast milk was for her to have the best calories and maintain that optimal growth for Sadie going into the surgery, and I think that really helped Tara.
Definitely. So, after being here for so many weeks, and Sadie, just after she had heart surgery, there was a concern about her gaining enough weight and gaining enough weight to go home, and that was really very important. And after a lot of conversation, and it's just sort of the knowledge that I pulled from the back of my brain, I remembered Lisa specifically talking about how they could test calories in breast milk, and I thought, you know what, if they can test calories in breast milk, I want to find out how many calories are in my breast milk, because they're talking about putting formula into breast milk to make it more caloric, just with the assumption that breast milk is 20 calories per ounce, and I felt really empowered to march my breast milk up to the milk kitchen and say, hey, do you mind testing this for me? I really, I want to know what's best for my child. I want as much information as possible. And I found out that my breast milk is 23, almost 24 calories per ounce when it was estimated to be 20. And then the hind milk, my fatty milk, is close to 40 calories per ounce. So we were able to work together with lactation, with a dietitian, and with cardiology. Instead of adding formula into the breast milk, we were able to just take the hind milk and feed her that. And she's been doing a really good job of growing ever since.
So Lisa, help us understand what that means when we're adding calories to breast milk. What are we doing, or how does that work?
So there's different reasons for fortification. So when she was premature, we had to use a special premature fortifier at that time. And now that she was growing up and had the cardiac surgery and she was bigger, we didn't need the premature fortification part. That's why we were working closely with cardiac and the dietitians, Tara, and just seeing what her tolerance of feedings were. And so we were able to have Tara pump to hind milk and then do those feedings. And we usually do that for about 2 weeks, watch their weight gain closely, but we were able to optimize the calories and not have to do a fortifier in there, which meant so much.
It meant a lot to me because I wanted to make sure that she was getting what I could provide, but at the same time, before surgery, she had some problems with constipation with the extra formula. Mm-hmm. So I really just wanted to make it as easy on her system as possible because we were, adding formula to her breast milk and then adding in something else for the constipation. I wanted to make it as simple as possible, hoping that my body was able to provide what was best for her.
And Tara did a phenomenal job with that. So we were able to, get a plan for her pumping and the feedings and work through that with the whole team.
Yeah.
And see beautiful growth.
And all right, so what message do you have, Lisa, for any mom who's considering breastfeeding? Because it's not like breastfeeding is only important when your child is in the care of our hospital,
right.
But breast milk is best for a lot of reasons, right?
Mm-hmm. It is. The active immunities, I think Tara spoke to that she didn't get sick before surgery. So even our babies at home with the cold and flu season and things like that, you might notice that the milk is made specifically for everything Tara was exposed to.
Yeah.
So out in public, she might have been exposed to colds and flu,
Yep.
but and so was Sadie, but she didn't get it because she was getting the active immunity. So looking at the scientific components of the milk, it's really empowering to just see what it can do and how it can really help our little babies as they're growing.
And for me, it was just important. I think I'm still learning. That's absolutely true. But providing breast milk was something that I didn't know much about in advance. And I think her situation is special. But I think I realized after a while, and especially with your support, that providing breast milk doesn't necessarily just mean breastfeeding. I was only able to put her to breast a couple of times a day when she was in the NICU, and then not at all while we were at home, because she had to be getting a certain number of bottles that were formula added, that were fortified. So it was just a matter of me providing breast milk, pumping exclusively, and then giving her that breast milk with formula in it while we were at home, and then now post-surgery it's just giving it to her in a bottle, just so that we can measure exactly how much she's taking.
And for those of you joining us on Facebook, please go ahead and post your questions. We'll try to get to those as we go through the interview. Looks like Ashley has a question. Is there a way to bring your milk back? I don't know if I understand that question exactly.
Like if you wean?
But sure.
So relactating, if your milk supply had diminished, if your milk supply had diminished and you wanted to relactate, it would be good to call a lactation consultant or La Leche League and have somebody help you. So there is, but it would be a one-on-one plan with each individual mom.
And Lisa, what types of other common questions you typically get from moms or families going through this, or is it really dependent on the type of care?
I really think everybody writes their own story, and each day or each feeding, each pumping might be a new chapter.
Totally.
But I think nutrition is really important because you forget about taking care of yourself. You're busy taking care of everything around you, but moms forget to feed themselves. And so having, a well-balanced diet and having enough protein for long-term energy is really going to help your milk supply as well as yourself, because when you're so busy worrying about your little ones, and your family, you forget to feed yourself. So having adequate nutrition with good proteins, and so we talk about that a lot too, just making sure you're getting enough fluids, and how can you get the proteins in, even if it's a protein smoothie and things like that, because you don't have time to eat a well-balanced diet.
Right, yeah, and I think for me, having that support of the lactation team reminding me, maybe you should stop downstairs and get something to eat, and the support of my family and friends who dropped off food, which was really fantastic, that it takes a village. It really does.
Lisa, is the lactation support we provide at our hospital unique? And if so, in what ways?
We're really fortunate to be able to meet Tara and other families like her in our maternal fetal care center, as well as our Irma Heart Center, where families are having an ultrasound, and then there's something found on the ultrasound. We're really fortunate as a lactation team to get to meet them prenatally and build that bond, so they can ask those questions and then reach out to us via telephone should they have the questions after they meet us. Then we're able to meet them in our neonatal ICU or cardiac ICU or other places here at Children's. Then we can follow Tara and Sadie in the Irma Heart Institute and other clinics. So we do go to all the other clinics here too. So if you had a baby with a cleft lip and palate, we can also go to that clinic. There's GI, pulmonary, all the clinics, the constellation of clinics and speech. So see, she's so perfect. So I was just getting to that, where we're able to also do outpatient speech. So that's where we can see our speech pathologist as well as the lactation consultant at the time to have that one-on-one meeting and consultation and see how we can help mom optimize milk transfer at a breastfeeding, and is baby able to breastfeed and bottle feed the breast milk. So we're able to have that full service line.
And so maybe one more question for you, Tara.
Yeah.
What message do you have for other moms or families out there who may be looking ahead at, to a breastfeeding experience? What message do you have for them?
Keep an open mind. I had no idea when I found out that I was expecting that I was going to be having a baby 6 weeks early with a congenital heart defect. I think I had a lot of ideas as to what breastfeeding meant when I first found out that I was expecting, but everybody has a different scenario. I was fortunate, extremely fortunate that I had a really healthy milk supply, so I was able to provide a lot of milk for Sadie and to provide milk for other babies hopefully as well. But I just keep an open mind and try not to be so hard on yourselves, because I think that's advice that's easier said than done.
And I think Tara didn't speak about, she's actually also going to be donating oversupply of milk. She has more milk than Sadie needs at this time, so she's going to become a milk donor to a milk bank.
And so, Lisa, for folks who are curious what that means to donate to a milk bank, how would they do that?
So there's a milk bank that the Mother's Milk Bank of Western Great Lakes in the Chicagoland area, and there's also a milk bank in Indiana. So the closest one would be Western Great Lakes, and we can put the contact information up on the site, and then they can call and the moms can get screened. It's a very short 10-minute screening, and then once they pass that screening, the paperwork looks a little bit harder than it really is. It just really talks about your health history and your diet and things like that. And it will also be a blood draw similar to the blood draw that you received while you were pregnant.
All right, we'll be sure to get that information up on our Facebook page. So thank you, Tara and Sadie and Lisa, for this opportunity today. All right, thank you.